So what is truly tacky? Some would say that having lamps in the form of ceramic animals is tacky, especially when one of them has marbles for eyes, like my friend on the left here. Others would say a martini is not tacky, except when it's 10 in the morning. Welcome to Rupert Cooks, and boy do we have a tacky Christmas morning recipe for you. Today we are going to be making Danish and decorating the Christmas tree, which I promise will be ultra tacky, and thinking about how nice it would be to greet people with nice freshly made Danish on Christmas morning. You certainly can go out and buy them, but you can't really buy them freshly made Christmas morning. So we're going to start with making the dough, which is going to be really tedious, and it's a really annoying sticky dough. And then, unfortunately, on top of being annoying, we also have to put it in the refrigerator overnight. So we better get to it the night before Christmas if we want to do this, or otherwise just enjoy the tacky and the Danish, and we will commence right away. Okay, so in our mixer with the dough hook, I have 3 cups flour, 2 1/4 teaspoons yeast, 1/3 cup of sugar plus a tablespoon of sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Set up with the dough hook, and we're just gonna mix to blend. Not too fast so we don't take a bath in it. Good enough. Next, we have 2 whole eggs plus 3 egg yolks and 6 tablespoons of melted butter that I've cooled. And then into that 1/3 cup of milk at about 100 degrees, 110 degrees, something kind of warm. I just put it in the microwave for a second. And then we are going to need the we're going to use all of the lemon zest, but half of it is going to go in here to give our dough that nice lemony taste. So, you know, it'll taste like pledge, like when you go visit your grandmother and the furniture smells, that kind of thing. Oh God, it is so tedious. That's good enough. And this is where it's good to have some of these sissy sassy whisks that are a little small, because then you can get into the corners and whisk these all around and make a little mess there. But let's get this all mixed up. We're going to add it to our dough, or our flour mixture, and make a nice sticky annoying dough. Okay, now with our mixer running kind of low so things don't go flying again, we're going to add our egg milk mixture and go kind of low for 2 minutes. Do a couple of scrape downs of the bowl with our spatula, and after that we are going to go for 8 minutes more on high, 8 to 10 minutes more until we get a nice smooth dough. So let's go. Okay, so we've gone for 8 to 10 minutes or so, and I should mention, do not walk away from this because you're going a long time, but mixer will start rocking and rolling on you a little bit. And I don't exactly know what happens if one of these falls on the ground while it's running, but I have a feeling it is not happy day making. So you want this to be falling off like this in like a thick rope like that. And you can just tell by looking at this, man, that's going to be a pain in the butt dough to deal with. So, and see, it's quite sticky. So you are not trying to get like a bread dough kind of thing. You're trying to get an aggravating dough. That's just the only way I can put it. So let's try and get a better view of this. And you can see it's sticky and annoying. And what we're going to do is cover this up with some saran wrap or plastic wrap. Let it sit at room temperature, provided we have a kind of warm room, and go until it about doubles. Then we are going to throw it in the refrigerator for 10 hours or overnight. So that's why you got to start this the night before Christmas, Christmas Eve fundo time. That'll be fun. And then we can take this out in the morning and proceed with the festivities. So let's get to that. Fiber optic Christmas tree, that's tacky. But can we make it even tackier? Let's figure out how. Alrighty, so our dough has been in the refrigerator overnight. And as you can see, it's risen quite a bit more. The refrigeration process slows down the yeast action, so it rises more slowly, but it gives the dough the kind of character we want. And what we're going to do is take this dough and separate it into 12 pieces and then roll them out with floured hands on our board here, not using any flour on the board, just on our hands. All right, so I've got my dough separated into 12 pieces and floured hands only. Notice no real flour on the board. And I'm just gonna set them here on my sheet. All right, so I've got my balls all rolled out and they're sitting on one of these silicone pads. And I have taken some plastic wrap and sprayed it with cooking spray, because if you remember, this dough is quite sticky. And so I sprayed it with cooking spray, put it on top, and now we're just gonna let it sit for an hour for these to rise a teeny bit more and come up to room temperature, that kind of thing. But in the meantime, what we will do is work on our fillings. All right, so in the bowl, I've got an 8-ounce package of cream cheese, about a teaspoon of lemon juice, and the rest of the zest from that lemon. So you get to sit there and use the zester twice. And I'm just going to mix that all up here with a spatula. I was going to do it with a mixer, but I couldn't face it. So and there we go. That's pretty mixed up there. So yeah, 3 tablespoons confectioner's sugar, a teaspoon of lemon juice, zest of half a lemon. Okay, so the easiest fruit topping you can use here would be just jam. I'm using some strawberry jam here that's pretty nice. But I thought I'd also try some dried cherries, and I'm not gonna chop these up too much, just a little, because they're pretty small already. And what I'm going to do is I've got about a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar in there, which I know it sounds totally disgusting, but I'm going to put these in the vinegar, so get it all mixed up in there. And I'm going to run this in the microwave for about 30 seconds to sort of get the vinegar pushed into the dried cherries. And what this does is it makes the cherries taste quite a bit brighter. I find that dried cherries, you put them in and they're kind of a disappointment. They taste sort of not as cherry-like as I would like. So doing a little bit of balsamic like that really brightens them up. Obviously you can go too far and then these quickly become, I don't know, like Greek salad Danish, which isn't that good. And we're just gonna microwave them, not much, 30 seconds is like the most I would go. So. And there we go. That's how you make it tackier, with some bubble lights. I'd like to note that these things are all better when bought used at Goodwill or something like that, a thrift store. You might even want that added heavy smoker vibe going on with it to increase the tackiness of it. All right, so our dough has been sitting for about an hour. You might have to go about an hour and a half if your house is a little bit cooler. But what we're gonna do is take our fingers and make a little depression in each one. And you can see that sticky dough is still fighting me. And then I've made up a little bit of an egg wash here. It's just an egg with about a teaspoon of water in it. And what we're gonna do is go around and brush the outsides. And this will give it that nice golden bakery hue that we want. This is nothing fancy here. And remember, we got our cream cheese and zest. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in there, and it's important that this is that you've kept this in the refrigerator, because if it is too warm, it can have a tendency to slide out on you. And we're just going to go through and fill all of these. So now I'm going to come along, put in our jelly. These are the strawberry ones first. Now I'm going to put in our cherries. And you can keep going with whatever fruit filling you feel like. But we are going to finish this up and then pop it in the oven for about 20-25 minutes. When they're done, take them out, set them on a cooling rack for 10 minutes, and either eat them or box them up in an airtight container. You don't need to refrigerate these. You will need to eat these pretty much within 24 hours. I find that after 24 hours, these get kind of a little store-bought tasting. So, finish these up and get these in the oven. And here are our Danish, all fresh and ready-made for us to enjoy on our tacky Christmas Eve. Thanks so much for joining me on this special holiday edition of Rupert Cooks. I really appreciate all of you being with me for the previous 6 or 7 months or so, and look forward to the new year with more ripping episodes and exciting recipes, and maybe a little bit less tackiness, but maybe more, you never know. At any rate, I will see you in 2024. Thanks again. Bye-bye.